Hi, my name is Nieves Bowie and I'm an attorney at the Nieves Law Firm. Today I'm going to talk to you about if you have the right to refuse a breath test, chemical test, or any field sobriety test if you're stopped for suspension of driving under the influence. So, you've been stopped by an officer, and it's really easy to feel persuaded like you have to listen to what they say or you have to do what they say, and you don't really have the option to tell them no. Well, contrary to popular opinion, you do have the right to tell an officer no, and you have the right to not incriminate yourself. Field sobriety test, answering questions before the field sobriety test are all answers that will elicit an incriminating response and can be used against you in criminal court. Therefore, you have the right to say no. First, let's start with field sobriety tests. Typically what happens when you're stopped for a DUI is an officer will stop you. They will ask you if you've been drinking, where you're coming from, all of these things. They may even tell you it looks like you've been drinking, it smells like alcohol in here, to which you do not have to respond to. If you choose to respond, that's your option. Just know it can be used against you in court. Now, the officer may ask you to get out of the car and that they would like you to do some tests. Again, an officer does not have to tell you that you have the right to refuse. They may make it seem like you have to do so, but you do not. And many times they use this language, come on out here, I want you to do some tests. Or sometimes they just say, can you do this for me, follow this pen? That's a field sobriety test. It's called the HGN, horizontal nystagmus gaze test. And so what that means is they're beginning a field sobriety test on you, and you have the right to say no. Now the game changes a bit. If you are actually formally arrested, you do have to give a breath test, chemical test, or urine test. You do have to give some form of test. Because of that, you have the option to refuse, but the officer can go ahead and just get a warrant if they wish to. Or if you refuse, the DMV will automatically suspend your license for a year. You obviously have the right to contest this via an APS hearing, but that is the option that you face. You risk the chance of having your license suspended for 1 year or taking the breath test and having criminal charges filed against you. The option is yours, and I'm never going to tell you how easy or hard that decision is going to be. It's really a balancing interest for yourself, and many times an officer can still get the test with the warrant. So at that point, it's up to you. But if you are arrested, you are required to either give a test or face the suspension because of the refusal. But prior to arrest, you are not required in any way, shape, or form to do field sobriety tests, the PASS test, or anything of that nature. You're also not required to answer any questions that the officer asks you. If you have been stopped by a police officer for driving under the influence, please contact the Nieves Law Firm and see how we can help you.